Florida Gators take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. 2 of the 4 unbeaten teams in SEC play go head-to-head. My cousin's Brooke Weisbrod, glad to have you with us. The Gators and their offensive charge led by the sophomore Kayvon Allen.
A big reason for their 5-game winning streak is the way that Kayvon Allen starts the game. He comes in looking for his shot. He's able to create on his own, and off the bounce, he doesn't need a lot of time or a lot of space to deliver the goods. It's the reason he's the SEC Player of the Week after a 23-point performance against Tennessee. And for Alabama, well, they've got a young squad. They start 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and Dazon Ingram is leading the team in 5 different areas. He's also a guy that can create a shot on his own, and Avery Johnson has really cut down on the offensive options. You see the last 4 games, the effect that that has had on his game.
In a way, just letting the guys play a little bit more rather than having so much structured offense. Tavarius Hayes, Dante Hall battle for the opening tip, and it's won by the Crimson Tide in their home white, and the Gators on the road here in orange and blue. Braxton Key with a feed inside, opening slam, and it's 2-0 Alabama as Hall puts it away.
It's pretty simple, isn't it? A high screen and roll. If you see the opening, shoot toward the bucket. And that's what it takes. It's simple plays with execution to get Alabama scoring.
2-0 in the SEC for Alabama. Number 23, Florida, gives it up. They are 3-0 in SEC play. Coming off a win against Tennessee their last time out. On the baseline drive into the corner, Norris tries it. And a follow finish. How about that start? Hall has all 4 for Alabama.
How about the way he's come in and just looked to attack the glass? Not only has he set great screens, but he's immediately looking after that. What else can I do? How can I make an impact in the offense? A terrific start both offensively and defensively for the Crimson Tide.
Leon the miss in the 3-point try. Robinson, the offensive board, keeps it alive. And Hill just inside the arc with a long 2 to get the Gators on the board. Hill coming off just a 2-point game against the Volunteers, but did have 7 assists in that game. Key to the wing, and that one deflected on the try from Avery Johnson Jr.
Exactly what Florida wants to do, to be able to block shots, create some turnovers so that they don't get stuck in the half court or even the quarter court offense. What they really like to do is score in transition and keep it moving. In a way, might keep their options limited, just like Alabama.
Hall gets called for the personal foul, his first. He's had an explosive start on offense.
Yeah, the sophomore guard from here in Alabama. Again, making his presence known. He's 6'9", about 225 pounds. This is a guard-driven team, but it sure helps to have your post players step up. Avery Johnson talking to the guards, of course, earlier this week, and really after that Clemson loss, to say, okay, guys, what do we need to do to put points on the board? What's missing? And I thought it was a great idea to throw that question out in the locker room, to ask his team, give me something tangible we can work with. One of the options was, coach, we just got to play. Let us run a little bit more.
It's a good sign of experience from a head coach who's done it at the highest level, from coaching in the NBA with the Mavericks and the Nets, and now here in year number 2 with Alabama. Now on the perimeter, Avery Johnson, last year 18-15, 8-10 in the SEC. Went to the NIT, lost to Creighton. But starting to build something here at Alabama, 9-5 as the Florida foul goes against Kayvon Allen. That's number 1 on the Gators' leading score. Avery Johnson's son, Avery Jr., number 5, gives it up on the perimeter. And that's out of bounds off the Crimson Tide and back to the Gators, tied at 4. Hill to the baseline and a beautiful hanging finish from Allen, who drops it in.
Good read by both Casey Hill and Kayvon Allen. Casey Hill saw that the Alabama defense wasn't exactly set up and engaged, ready to take them on defensively. So he charged, and a good read by Allen to fake, go back door, and receive the pass.
Ball against Hayes to the wing. Norris tries the three. Hill saw he didn't have the shot and gets it inside for Hayes. After going down 4-0, it's an 8-0 Gators run.
Let's watch the connection again from Casey Hill to Kayvon Allen. And he saw the speed. Avery Johnson Jr. back, not really charging the ball, stopping the transition offense. And Allen, so quick. He's powerful and he's quick. It's a dangerous combination.
Mike White has already lost the suit jacket early here on the road. Also in his second season, the former head coach at Louisiana Tech. So a couple of second-year head coaches on the sideline here between Florida and Alabama. So the Tide knocks it out of bounds. 23 seconds on the shot clock for Florida. Substitution for Alabama, Bola Olaniyan, a graduate transfer from Southern Illinois. And that's part of what you talked about, Brooke, is the experience they get off the bench. Wide open look. Chris Chiozza got his feet set, got his hands set, and knocks it down.
He's their backup point guard who, when he comes in, he's going to look to score. Three-point shooter, solid, great inside work. That's been impressive for Alabama. Olaniyan with he and Dante Hall. Started this game, I expected the guards to take a majority of the shots all night long, and it's been those two that have done a lot of the work so far.
Chiozza behind the back for Leon. Lost it in the lane, now tries to finish, and that's a good way to get the job done inside against Alabama. You got to put some high arc on those shots. That's what Mike White was worried about that this week.
And you have to stick with it. Alabama is such a lockdown, defensive-minded team. They're not going to give up on the play. So until you have possession, you just got to keep working.
Robinson picks up the foul. Hot start offensively for Florida here on the road.
It's your choice.
It's Florida by a touchdown here in Tuscaloosa. Maybe too soon for football references. Glad to have you with us here tonight. Basketball, Mike Cousins and Brooke Weisbrod. A couple of teams here. Florida 3-0 in conference play. Alabama at 2-0. And they've made their mark with defense here in the early part of conference play.
Yeah, both teams pretty similar in that respect. And, Alabama is a team that has gotten better as the season has gone along with defense. Florida's a team that doesn't turn the ball over. And you can see very similar numbers. Right around that 60 to 65 point mark is where teams have run into the buzzsaw. Not to mention the amount of steals they're getting per game and the number of blocks. And you can see it's both third and second in the SEC. It really contributes to the identity of both clubs. So Alabama, for a team that coming into today didn't have anybody on the team scoring in double digits, something that you had discovered throughout checking the stats. It's hard to believe any team could put together some wins from that. But then you look at the balance that their bench provides, the leadership, and overall minute production, where Coach Johnson told us that maybe he had played some guys too much in the beginning of the season and not enough now. So he's trying to work out that balance and get the scoring figured out. And both teams will look to just defend, just disrupt everything you're trying to do.
And that's the way that Alabama's got to do it. They're the only Division I team that doesn't have a player averaging at least 10 points a game. Ingram there from the stripe, their leading scorer, goes 0 for 2, averaging 9.9 a game coming in. Off the bench, a nice spark for Florida. Canyon Berry misses the three-point try. He's been hot the last few games, scored 15 last time out against Tennessee. So you got Ingram at 9.9 and Braxton Key behind him, averaging 9 points a game. But, when we posed that to Avery Johnson this afternoon and said, what's it like to hear that you're the only Division I team that's like that? He says, look, yeah, I get it. We haven't had enough going on field goal percentage-wise. We're second to last in three-point field goal percentage in the SEC. We haven't made enough shots in the paint. I get it. So we've got to work on those things. And that's part of what we talked about right at the beginning of the game is scrapping about half the playbook from what the beginning of the season was and saying, look, when the ball is in your hands and you see an opportunity to score, don't worry about what the play call was. Don't look over to me on the sidelines. Go and score. Do what you do.
Take the initiative. That's why he had that conversation with Faison, with Corbin Collins, and Xavier Johnson Jr. You see where their offensive numbers have ranked, much to be improved upon. You know, the big thing in my mind, look at the bottom there, the assists, just 12 a game. Last in the SEC. I personally believe if any team can get to that 17 to 21, you got a great chance at winning. It's sharing the ball, it's looking for the next best shot, it opens up the offense, and because Alabama is so locked in on defense, that's not going to change. That effort's not going to go away.
Ingram for Key in the corner. High arcing three is good for Braxton Key, who shoots it at 39% from beyond the arc. Barry a little wobbly on that pass, looking to the wing for Keith Stone. And the Gators turn it over, their second. Well, Key just got behind the defense. Nobody saw him, and he flies in for the easiest two he might have today. Mike White very displeased with that setup, and he wants a 30-second timeout.
Yeah, the time might come off after that one because that's a complete breakdown in a top 25 team in a defense. Look at this, all blue shirts. Allows Braxton Key to get behind the defense for an easy score. Man, that's a gut check time to go back and say, fellas, we're here. Everybody's got to be present on this floor. We cannot allow Alabama to gain the momentum. Our fans here are looking for a way to get back into this game, back into this university after what they went through last night. And I have to say, I'm so proud to see the students represent. I mean, we have basically a full student section here. I know it was a long night. They probably only slept for just a minute or two.
More college hoops coming up Thursday. Notre Dame and Miami, 7 Eastern on ESPN. And then after that, on to the American, 9 Eastern, SMU with a tough one against number 22 Cincinnati, with the Bearcats off to a perfect 3-0 start in conference play. Both games also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Undefeated in conference play, that's what we got right here as well. The Gators 3-0, the Crimson Tide at 2-0. And a traveling call against Barry. That's turnover number 3 for Florida. That was what plagued them in the first half against Tennessee. 9 turnovers by the Gators. And then they turned it around second half. They only gave it up twice and helped spark their comeback.
Other than the backdoor cut, we haven't seen Kayvon Allen with the ball much in his hands. And right now he's working in the game with a lot of reserve guys. I think it's important for him to take charge, call for the ball, make sure Chiozza can find him, work off some screens. You know, he's not a guy that has to have the ball in his hands. That's why he plays the 2-guard spot. Come off those screens, have your hands ready to shoot. You have a good defender in Corbin Collins taking him on.
Look at what they're doing to him. They're face guarding him everywhere he goes on the floor. He has got no room to find a shot.
And Collins is pinning him against the corner even. He's inviting him to go back door, but there's some help there.
So the second option is Barry, and he's a pretty good second option.
Barry is terrific, and a turnover here for Florida. That'll help, and it'll count.
Stone with the takeaway and the basket, as Florida utilizes the turnover to its advantage to stretch its advantage back to 7.
Florida's a team where if they have some stretches where they're not scoring, they can also put it back and punch it. Quick turnaround, both with points, defense getting some turnovers. Allen, he's an explosive scorer. Certainly with Barry, the three-point threat really from anywhere in the building. What he was able to do against Ole Miss, pretty impressive. Just extensive range, terrific confidence.
20 against Andy Kennedy's team, and then 15 against Tennessee the last 2 games for Barry. A lot of dribbling to get to the basket, and with 8 left on the shot clock, it does end up in a foul against Florida. And that's on Kavarius Hayes, his first. So Leon Robinson, Hayes, and Allen, each with 1 foul for the Gators. This free throw no good for Avery Johnson Jr., who shoots 75% of the strike. And Robinson is back onto the floor, replacing Keith Stone. 0 for 3 at the line. Ingram was the other member of the Crimson Tide to get to the stripe, missed them both. And after a miss on the first, the second is good for Johnson. First active season for the head coach's son after transferring from Texas A&M and sitting out a year ago. Chiozza, right at the rim, delivers a pair.
Now, more pressure. Just trying to slow down the Alabama offense and, you know, extend it out to those wings. You got to put pressure on the point guard out to the wings and make it difficult for them to get inside. And Avery Johnson did a great job last time of body control and staying in the rim, toward the rim.
Contested 3, Corbin Collins knocks it down.
We're glad to have him back. He injured his groin against Clemson. He was out a couple games. He adds a lot to this club.
Not a good look on that possession for Florida. Johnson dribbles into a turnover. That's number 4 for Alabama. First good look for Allen as he drives, dishes, and from the left block, Robinson not able to finish.
Not sure why Allen thought a better option was going to be to dump that pass off. It looked like he had a much better lane and an open look at a shot.
Lonnie on straight away outside his scoring range. Now Norris back up top as Collins resets the offense. 8 on the shot clock, driving against the much bigger Hayes. It rolls across the rim into the hands of Barry. Barry on the drive and a blocking foul called. Norris came over to try and take the charge and didn't have his positioning where it needed to be. So 11-18 left here in the first. Florida by 7.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by CenturyLink, connecting more than just places. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And in part by Degree Deodorant, it won't let you down. And one a day, men's and women's.
11-18 left here in the first half in Tuscaloosa. Number 23, Florida on the road. 22-15. My cousin's Brooke Weisbro to look at what took us to break.
Yeah, let's go back and check out this attempted charge from Riley Norris. And is he in legal guarding position before Kenyon Barry starts his upward motion? And no, because from our perspective, it did look like he was established and perhaps should have been a charge call, but going back to look at it makes much more sense as to why it was a blocking foul. Good effort, though, by Norris to try and step over for that help side. And Barry's going to check out of the game.
Barry was already off the floor by the time that Norris had gotten there. He was outside the restricted arc as Barry takes a seat, 6 points. And now Ingram, the leading scorer, back into the game for Alabama to replace Avery Johnson Jr. Now, this is what Mike White talked to us about earlier this afternoon. He's showing a little bit more full court pressure. Because while the Gators have sometimes struggled to score points in the half court, they have not lacked for turnovers.
Right now, they're enjoying an 8-point lead, but you know he doesn't feel comfortable with the way his offense is running. It's got no flow to it. And as you were mentioning, this is a team that needs to feed off its defense. It needs turnovers. So do that, you got to add some more pressure and add some looks and some opportunities to trap. May not be full court man-to-man. Find ways to try to create turnovers.
Way deep three for Norris. That's an over-the-back call against Jimmy Taylor of Alabama. His first foul.
Jimmy Taylor coming off a terrific game against Vanderbilt. 10 points, 8 boards, 3 assists, 3 blocks. This is a guy who started over 80 games and is now accepting his role on the bench. Shows a lot of maturity. That would not be easy for anybody to do. Great dish. That's what Florida needs. Just keep the ball moving, keep that pace up.
Foul number 35, Dante Hall, is his second personal foul. Alabama's 6th team foul.
Hayes taking a bit of a bump there from Dante Hall, who gets charged with his second foul. 6'9", 223 is not an easy load to take falling down on top of you.
So it does seem the way this game started, Alabama, there was some flow to their offense. Florida tightened up their defense. And it feels like it's been pretty stale here for the last 5 minutes. You know, at least there's teams that are changing lineups, a lot of different looks, some different defenses. This is, I think, what both coaches have experienced is an inconsistency with their ability to score. You count on the defense, but can you score?
Well, Florida is scoring to its liking so far, 24-15. A 9-point margin is the largest lead of the night for the Gators. Dumped down inside for Key, who draws the double team and draws the foul on his way to the basket. Difficult matchup, 6'8", 225. And that's foul number 2 on Leon for Florida.
Avery Johnson calls Braxton Key a triple-double waiting to happen. Another young part of this squad, a freshman in the starting lineup. Also one of the best defenders on the team.
Leon coming off a career-high 19 against Tennessee. Now takes a seat, likely for the remainder of this first half. Tide struggling to score in general, not taking advantage of their trips to the free throw line, 1 for 6. And Hill, instant offense. Well, Florida didn't have to do much to force that turnover, just a sloppy pass from Ingram, and it's reciprocated by Allen. Key down the floor, swatted away by Robinson.
Whoa.
Big time block.
Check to see if there's still air in that. I mean, he got up. That was LeBron-esque.
Foul on Egbuno on the illegal screen, but let's take a second look at Robinson with the swat against Braxton Key.
Great job trailing the play. Make sure you get your head out of the way there, buddy. Don't have to get you any stitches to go along with the block.
That's why they put padding on the backboard.
True that.
For
Now,
6'8" guys who can extend all the way to the top of the backboard.
us 5'7" guards, we don't think like that.
3.5 feet from the bottom to the top of the backboard, and Robinson nearly cleared it all. Key. Langs back iron. Johnson resets. Back for Ingram. Down the lane. And he's going to the stripe.
Foul number 5, Trayvon Allen, his second personal foul, Florida's 8th team foul.
A big part of Alabama's offense is using Ingram, a taller guard at 6'5". Run plays for him to post up on smaller guards. Seeing that exchange, Kayvon Allen really doing what he can to body him up and keep him on one side of the floor. Sure would be a great idea to just have him go down to the post, especially with Allen out of the game right now. Let him go to work.
And Ingram, the only player to start every game this year for Alabama as well. That slices it to 10, 26-16. Taylor, Ingram, Key, Hale, and Johnson Jr. on the floor for the Crimson Tide. It's Chiozza, Robinson, Ekbunu, Hill, and Berry for the Gators. Now 10 on the shot clock. Would have been a good look for Berry had he caught it clean. Hill's going to have to create. 3 seconds, he turns it over. Johnson drives the floor and misses the easy lay-in. That's where the Crimson Tide have to be able to get points, take them where they're easy. Back and forth they go, a near turnover. Possession arrow keeps it here with Florida.
You know, you're right about that, Mike, because as great as it is to turn the ball over, it doesn't do anything for your momentum if you're not converting on those points. You have to make sure you're making opponents pay for those. Alabama hasn't hit their last 5 shots. It's an energy drainer. You're going to spend all that energy getting the ball back and running up and down the floor. You have to make sure the points count.
Trying to get the ball inside for Ekbunu. Florida goes 4 out, 1 in. And no Kayvon Allen, who's got 2 fouls. Coming a little bit earlier than they really needed or wanted in this first half. On the drive and 1, Devin Robinson. The Gators by 12 as Robinson sees his avenue from the perimeter. Taylor with the harm to send the big man to the line.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. Your link to what's next. And in part by Walt Disney World Resort. The magic is endless.
A little bit of a subdued atmosphere here on campus in Tuscaloosa after Clemson going to come from behind victory yesterday in the college football playoff championship game, 35-31. And you know, there was some positive to take away from it for the Crimson Tide fans. Say, look, even if it wasn't back-to-back titles, Dabo Swinney, head coach at Clemson, still a Bama graduate.
Not sure that help eases the pain, Mike. I don't know.
Always look on the bright side of life. Casey Hill with the takeaway. And on the run, can't convert the layup. And a foul on the rebound. So both sides here, both Florida and Alabama, have not been able to get the easiest points of the day so far.
Again, defense to offense. What are you going to do with it? Casey Hill with the steal. He's going to be the head guy in charge out here. He's going to have to take more control of this offense. And he said it himself. He said, I don't need to go out and hunt for shots. Me facilitating is better than me taking the shots. I got to get my teammates involved. We have great shooters, but he's the point guard, and he's a guy that has really relaxed in his game. He said he's having a lot more fun playing this year, and what a difference that's made in his performance. This is a tough game. It's right in the thick of SEC season. 2 good starts, but 2 teams that love to play defense. Anytime you have that kind of a matchup, the game is an absolute grind. You get a lot of fouls. You get a lot of free throws.
It's just a march in between 94-foot markers right now, back and forth from free throw line to free throw line. John Ekbunu picked up his second for the Gators. And Olaniyan with his second there after the missed free throw for the tie. So Ekbunu, for the 2nd straight game, finds himself in foul trouble. So it's officially here at about 7.5 minutes to go before halftime. Put Skylar Rimmer on alert, the reserve big man for the Gators, who played a big role against Tennessee. 16 minutes after Ekbunu and Hayes got in foul trouble. Robinson, 1-2 steps into a 3. It nicks the front iron, and the rebound for Ingram. Bama has missed its last 7 field goal tries, scoreless from the field over the last 5 minutes.
My goodness.
Chiozza.
It's like open gym out here.
No. Collins. And the drop continues.
both teams rushing through their shots, hurrying through the offense, making passes before they're absolutely there. And taking poor shots as a result.
Robinson to the corner. Chiozza tries a three. Halfway down. See, if there's not primary break offense, Brooke, right now, where is it coming from? There's an offensive foul against Ingram. So the situation that these teams are going to encounter right now, that's number 2 on Ingram. Kayvon Allen, the leading scorer for the Gators, has 2 personal fouls.
It's a bad traffic jam. You're trying to work your way out of it.
It's not a good look right now.
You got to get on the app. You got to open up Waze. You got to find another way to get to where you're trying to go. Because what's not working right now is everything.
You're on the best route right now, despite usual traffic.
Heavy traffic between these 2 buckets. I mean, it really is trying. Both teams, you can feel it's so tense. They're trying to break free, and they're used to being able to score from their defense, but they're running into good transition defense from the other squad. So nothing is coming easy. Maybe except for that.
Down the lane. There you go.
Woo.
Hayes with the pull-up and scores 2. But trying to score points in this stretch of the first half has been like trying to ice skate on cement right now for these 2 teams. From way outside, Davis. This is the 3. Hayes running the floor, and he gets rewarded. Hit on his way up, and he goes to the line. We get another great NBA doubleheader tomorrow night on ESPN. First at 8, it's the Grizzlies visiting Russell Westbrook and Oklahoma City. And then at 10:30, LeBron James and the Cavs head to Portland. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown charged by Mountain Dew at 7. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN.
How about what LeBron said to Kyle Korver, who's a new member of the Cavs? He said, you want to learn how to fit into this team? Just shoot it every time you get it. I mean, if you got hot sauce coming to the team, Cavs just got lots stronger. LeBron speaks and the universe delivers. He said he needed another guard, needed some help. He got it.
That's a pretty good sign-off
yeah.
from your teammate to give you that green light.
It's just amazing to see LeBron come around as a player and be so selfless and be interested in making his teammates better. I mean, that's where the difference was made and why the Cavs were able to have the success that they've had. It's because he's changed the level of his game.
Timeout taken here by Alabama as Florida leads it 31-16. The Tide right now is struggling mightily to score. Over their last 9 from the floor and entirely scoreless over the last 3.5 minutes, with the Gators on an 11-1 run. Dazon Ingram, the leading scorer for Alabama, has 2 personal fouls. Dante Hall with a pair and Bola Olaniyan with 2 as well. And if they're not going to score in transition, where do they turn at this point?
There's some times where Braxton Key has been able to cross through the first line of the Florida defense, create some explosive plays, and this is the challenge for the Alabama offense. Where does it come from? And now is the time for the 3 guards, Dazon, Corbin, and Avery Johnson Jr., to take charge. They have to be in that initiative and that scoring mindset. Braxton Key with the ball, able to handle, but they'll do whatever they can to get good shots. They're not going to not work through the offense.
And it's another offensive foul in that same spot. Norris finding out what Ingram did as well, warding off with the arm, and that's number 2 on Norris. The Gators have moved quickly down the floor. Behind the back, Chiozza to Stone. Just his 7th made triple of the year. That was a beautiful sequence. Key to his right as Robinson anticipated the screen. And Braxton Key, knowing his team needed him to deliver, does just that. Robinson. One dribble and he's stripped clean by Taylor.
Surprised to see Devin Robinson spend so much time on the outside. And another score from Key. I like the way he's played his game here in the first half. Hasn't thought about it too much, right? He's gotten the ball, he's reacted, he's made the plays. You can tell in his mind, he's just looking to say, all right, how can I score? How can I be effective? A team that has been so stale on offense, you have to have a guy that's consistently thinking, give me the ball, let me try, let me score.
Go back for Stone. Thought about a 3, one dribble, no. And an empty possession for the Gators. A 2-bounce pass. Looking for Johnson up the floor. Alabama basketball. See if they go back to Key, who's got the last 5 for the tie.
With Debbie Antonelli and Ish Shroff. Tonight, Baylor played its first game as your #1. It didn't go so well.
29 turnovers led to 29 West Virginia points.
They stormed the court in Morgantown. Not an upset, though, Mike Cousins. West Virginia was favored.
You know what? It's just not fair for Baylor. They get to #1 for the first time in school history, and then they have to play West Virginia, #1 versus #10. It's 34-21 back here at Alabama. Mike Cousins, Brooke Weisberg. You know what was good, though, about today as far as, you know, this is the point of the year where we say, all right, everybody turns their attention back to college basketball because college football is over. So Baylor has a tough go of it. The ACC right now with 6 teams in the top 25. And how about the job that Richard Pitino has done this year in getting Minnesota to #24, ranked for the first time in 4 seasons, as they have climbed to near the top of the Big Ten. But you have 3 top 15 matchups tonight in college basketball. You've got Duke and Florida State. You've got Baylor and West Virginia. You've got Xavier and Villanova. For people turning their attention back to college basketball today, this is a great night to do it. Braxton Key now has the last 7 for the Crimson Tide as they're down 34-23.
And a close matchup between Vandy and Kentucky in the 87-81 point game.
Whoa.
That's new. I mean, we're used to seeing Kentucky with a 30 or 35 point margin.
And that has been the norm for them. They've won their SEC games by an average of 30 points.
Good for the fans for them to come back down to earth a little bit and make the games more competitive and juicy, but Kentucky is so good. You can see why they dominate.
Out of bounds, just got it on the baseline as Chiozza tried to fling it back in and keep it with Florida.
Chiozza's brought a lot of good energy tonight off the bench. Junior guard out of Memphis. He's consistent in making an impact, whether he's scoring or not, simply because of how hard he plays. I thought he's had some good exchanges tonight, some good looks and some good shots.
Off the inbounds, lost in the corner. Armand Davis hits the 3. All of a sudden, the Tide have made it a 9-point game.
Well, when Bama couldn't score against Vandy, they went to Armand Davis. He didn't play in the first half at all. They were down 14. He came in and hit on a couple of threes, and it was a different game. And there he is, Barry with the response.
The transfer from the College of Charleston, who led the CAA at 20 points a game last year, has been a big-time addition for Mike White and the Gators here in the 16-17 campaign. He's going on 3 straight games. He might have double digits.
I mean, it'll be hard for you to find a better shooting form than what Canyon Barry brings. I mean, it is straight up follow through, perfect execution of a shot. Probably fan the trade, I suppose.
Extending the pressure out toward midcourt here for the Gators, looking for a trap. 2 on the shot clock, and a long heave goes down. How about that? Last-ditch effort for Davis. Whoa!
Excuse me. He is instant offense. That's what they love about this guy. Junior guard from Washington. Now the energy in the building, much different.
As loud as it's been here in Coleman Coliseum tonight. Alabama basketball.
Let's go back and take another look at this shot in the range. Wow. Nearly half court. It looked good. As soon as he let it go, you felt that it had a chance. That's why they practice him, though. We saw him do plenty of that shoot-around today. Most college teams end with the long-range shots, just in case.
Whoa, out of nowhere, Braxton Key makes it a 14-2 Crimson Tide run to slice it to a 6-point game. Tide fans on their feet. Robinson at the bucket uses all of his 6'8" frame to put him right back down.
Right, Mike, that's where he's more effective. He should be getting the ball right around there, 1 or 2 dribbles, but that's it. He's much better than being outside from 3. Too much talent.
Gioza foul on the floor.
Take a look at the second effort. Braxton Key, I just really like the way he's timed his jumps tonight. He's been really effective on the offensive glass. And rebounding has been one of Alabama's fortes. They hold a +6 margin, but the last 3 games, +19. And what an improvement. They were ranked 293rd last year, almost last, 13th to 14 SEC teams. Now, not only do they lead the SEC, they're 34th in the country, so a renewed dedication to rebounding.
Out of bounds in the ball to Alabama as they're on a 15-4 run, and all 15 of those points have come from either Braxton Key or Armand Davis, who had that 3-pointer closer to midcourt than he did to the basket. Now straight away with Johnson. Key is just looking to go right back to work. Outside for Davis, inside the arc. Offensive rebound, Key. He got folded up on the block. The hometown crowd wanted a foul. Instead, they got a travel, and that's the 9th turnover for the Crimson Tide.
You can see what Avery Johnson wanted. He felt like he got pushed. Let's take another look. It's possession there. No, didn't see anything from that angle.
No, he just fell down.
Just fell.
Last shot here for the Gators. 1 second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Hill driving, hanging, no. Ball tipped. Now one heave for Bama. Good if it goes off front iron. And Braxton Key with Dazon Ingram sidelined with 2 fouls. 15 first half points. The rest of the team just 1 more. And the freshman from Charlotte, North Carolina. And it's the Gators by 7 at the half.
Welcome into the studio, Anish Shroff alongside Debbie Antonelli. Alabama's offense showing signs of life late in that first half.
They sure did. Braxton Key came alive a little bit, and the thing for Florida is you know that you got to have your pressure package in because they're going to be up the line, they're going to be overplaying. Got to make some shots on the other end.
It's got to be nice for Avery Johnson, too, to see an alpha emerge. This is a team that's done it with everybody, 9 players averaging 5+ points. Braxton Key goes off in that first half.
Nobody averaging double figures. He's been leading them lately. And, you know, they're a team that are going to turn you over. They're going to make it ugly. They've got the pace where they want it. They got it at home. The crowd's back in it. To get it back to single digits at the half, it's a good thing for Alabama.
Florida still on top after 20 minutes. Meanwhile, Kentucky looking to...
Welcome back to Super Tuesday, presented by CenturyLink, part of the SEC on ESPN. Halftime here in Tuscaloosa, the number 23 Florida Gators with a 38-31 lead over the Alabama Crimson Tide. Glad to have you back here with us, Mike Cousins and Brooke Weisbrod. Scoring options in this first half. The top options for both teams, Kayvon Allen and Dazon Ingram, combined for 3 points on 1 field goal attempts. So it was a little bit of an auxiliary first half for both teams when it came to getting the job done, putting the ball in the basket.
Yeah, it really started off with an inside presence for both teams. And for Florida, you mentioned Allen with just 1 field goal. Well, he had some help. Kavarius Hayes, he was 2 of 3 from the floor, got to the free throw line 7 times. And Florida sprinted out to an early lead and then tried to play defense against a very pesky Alabama squad that wasn't going away. Braxton Key, one off of his career high. He had an explosive first half with 15 points. Also shot 2 of 3 from behind the three-point line. Armand Davis came in off the bench and just doing what he did the other day against Vandy, provide instant offense. Armand Davis all day with that range.
That last shot came with 2 seconds left on the shot clock. That's been somewhat emblematic of what the Crimson Tide had to deal with in the first half. Dazon Ingram with 2 fouls. He played 12 of a possible 20 minutes. Registered a 1 point. And Kayvon Allen for the Gators, 1 field goal try and 2 points in 9 minutes. On 2 for Devin Robinson. Gets the half started for Florida.
Good job by Kavarius Hayes with that brush screen. Give him just enough room. Robinson could get by his defender. Just keep the back door.
Whoa, getting up and delivering. Dante Hall for the weak side stick back.
Solid rebounding from Alabama. Second choice in this, the second effort. Dante Hall showed us a little bit of that in the first half.
Another weak side rebounding effort. Kavarius Hayes fighting for it. Jump ball. Alabama basketball.
Dante Hall makes a basket. More times than not, it's done. It's just the way he plays and how he goes about attacking the rim. Terrific timing to catch that ball, to read where it's going to come off the rim, to time his jump, and to catch it at the height of it so he can go with full force momentum. As you can see, a perfect 3 of 3 on the night.
It's full court man-to-man pressure from Florida. And they'll probably sustain that for the remainder of this game. They did a good job with pressure in the first half. 6 assists for Alabama in the first 20 minutes, but 9 turnovers. And Key continues to strike from deep.
Just look at his face, and he's got all the appearances of trying to get into that zone, right? It's a calm look. He's just engaged in the game. Just love players who look to make their mark the way he is tonight. Oh!
Blocking foul on the drive by Leon. He got 1 defender in the air, and Key came over trying to take the charge and looks for some clarification as he gets back up. Didn't get there in time.
His first personal foul, Alabama's first team foul of the second half.
Yeah, that's a pretty difficult call to make. I mean, that's can go either way there. Split-second timing. That's what you want if you're a coach. You know, you want to ask that of your guy that's scoring points and to dedicate himself on defense to attempt to take that charge.
And Key has done that this year. He's leading the team. He's taken 9 charges. That's 6 more than anybody else for Avery Johnson's team this year. Alabama trailed by as many as 18 points in the first half. And that was without a big contribution from Ingram. But they turn it over. It's now double-digit turnovers for the Crimson Tide. And Ingram didn't step in front there to stop Hill or stop the basketball.
And for Alabama, Riley Norris had nowhere to go with that ball. He drove down to the baseline, got caught in traffic, then he elevated and had no other choice but to turn the ball over.
Foul number 15, Kavarius Hayes, his second personal foul, Florida's first team foul of the second half.
Make sure you have the target before you before you leave. And coaches always emphasize, don't jump and then pass, especially against a team like Florida. They're not going to fall for anything.
Kavarius Hayes with the bailout foul. Now Norris going to work a couple dribbles, and he scores over the top of Robinson.
Good response, get right back into it. Saw where he had an advantage. Took Robinson off the bounce.
And the Tide still face guarding Kayvon Allen like they did in the first half. Corbin Collins guarded him. Now on this possession, Riley Norris following him step for step wherever he goes on the floor.
They're doing a heck of a job of making him a non-factor in this game. And he's not even getting the ball to shoot, Mike. He only had one field goal attempt in the entire first half.
And it was a reverse layup.
Yeah.
Johnson pocket pass. It wasn't perfect, but Dante Hall finishes it off. 4-point game.
I don't think Dante Hall ever had complete control of that ball, but the way he shot it, the ball had spin. It hit the backboard on the right side.
Johnson with the takeaway. Easy fast break bucket. 44-42. Allen finally gets a touch. And now a screen. He tries a three off balance, and it comes up empty. This is as close as the game has been since it was 13-11. From the corner side of the backboard, Allen feeds ahead for Hill, who's fouled right before it was swatted away by Key. That's number 3 on Riley Norris. The crowd here in Tuscaloosa on its feet, trying to will Alabama to a lead.
This is going to be a dogfight.
Go crazy! That's basketball at its best. We gonna blow your own mind. Allen on the ground. Are you serious? Snyder again. What a night he's having.
This is going to be a blockbuster.
They're number 7 for now. Duke take on Louisville on Saturday, but the Blue Devils lost 88-72 earlier today. No Emil Jefferson, an injured foot for the second straight season. And here in Tuscaloosa, a 2-point game as the Crimson Tide have slowly climbed back into it.
Dante Hall with the shot. He wanted it and one. Take a look, another look. Barely has possession of the ball. Then he loses it. And it looks like to me, Kavarius Hayes either got a piece of his arm or the ball or both. And then the steal from Avery Johnson. Finish Alabama feeling all sorts of momentum in this second half. 26-10 run. Have made 11 of their last 15 shots.
Got a foul before the timeout, charged against Alabama's Riley Norris. Puts Casey Hill at the free throw line with a 63% free throw shooter. Connects on the front end, 45-42. Alabama a winner in this series last year, 61-55. But the Gators come in number 23 in the country, and they have won 5 straight. Here at Coleman Coliseum. The big number for Alabama has been defensively this year. Key saw a good spot for Norris. 5 to shoot. Johnson. Oh my goodness! Dante Hall gets up and nearly cracks the rim off the backboard. He's got 10. The big number for Bama has been 62 points. Their 9 wins have come when they've held the opposition under 62. Leon with the shovel, and it's too much off the window.
There have been a few different scores tonight for Alabama. Braxton Key has opened it up from the outside, but on the inside, Dante Hall has played huge. Offensive, there's another one. I can't even get a word out without the man dunking it again. Okay, Dante, you gotta own that lane. You better get a Hall pass. You wanna try mess with him.
Tied in front for the first time since it was 4-2. Allen goes to the basket and walks with it.
Donta Hall has had a heck of a season in back-to-back games. He had career highs at Oregon, South Carolina Upstate. And look at the elevation, but more the intensity in his face. That is the face of a man who wants to be a factor in this game, who wants to be a difference maker. Alabama looking for their offense, and this is a great way to get it. Yes, sir. Rise and slam.
And for as good as his offense has been, there's a reason he's getting to the basket. Nobody's boxing him out. You saw in that replay there, John Egbunu at 6'11", 255,
on the floor.
spread his arms, looked up to the basket, but never put his body on anybody else. Optimally for Mike White, he'd be shoulder to shoulder with Donta Hall.
All right. So it's allowing those plays to happen is what's gotten Alabama back into this game. It's a 1-point lead.
Johnson trying to initiate the offense from near midcourt, having trouble trying to turn around Chiozza. 15-footer doesn't go, and nearly another offensive rebound as Ingram got a hand on it.
And Mike, to your point, he was looking right at Egbunu. When that shot went up, he made eye contact and made sure he looked right at Donta Hall and ran toward him. Maybe he just had a fear he was going to get dunked on again.
Ingram, leading scorer on the year for Alabama. On the free throw line here with 13:32 to play.
And that's where you see the offense being simplified. You've got a mismatch. Ingram 6'5", Chiozza just 6 feet. So you allow Ingram to back him down, post him up, just work. Get to the line. It's been impressive to see the way Alabama has scored in many different ways. Whether or not they can hit the transition buckets off the turnovers, you know, that they definitely have to improve on. But they've definitely improved since seeing them at Clemson, play against Clemson anyways, a couple weeks ago. It's a different looking offense.
It really sounded like hearing Avery Johnson describe that game in particular. And as he changed his starting lineup, which in their 4-game winning streak, this lineup that they've used, a younger one, has gone 4-0, but described the Clemson game as a turning point for this season.
They felt like they ran into a wall that night, and Avery Johnson Jr. was a leading scorer, and it just felt like there was too many offensive options. Too many guys perhaps getting the ball too much, right? So who are our main scorers? They need to have their ball the ball in their hands to create. And you have guys like Donta Hall who can follow up, charge the rim. Riley Norris can add in minutes, some outside shooting, some height. All of these guys have the ability to put up 15 to 20 points, maybe not per night, but throughout the course of the season.
And Norris has been in the starting lineup those last 4 games, all victories for Alabama. Hill is back into the game for Florida as Chiozza takes a seat with 4 fouls. Those two have been on the floor simultaneously quite a bit tonight for the Gators. That won't be the case here for the remainder of the second half. So that all starts with Hill. Collins getting a little bit too close. His first foul. Norris is out. Kola Olaniyan is in for Alabama. Allen still looking to get in his scoring groove. Fouled as he takes it to the basket. noticeable what the Gators have done here. And again, Allen was limited in the first half. 2 fouls, only 9 minutes. It's just been simple dribble handoffs, getting him in motion. And even if he doesn't score, he's starting to rack up the fouls for Alabama.
Right, trying to force the issue because you have to have Allen's presence in this game. You've got other reliable scorers, but you need your lead guy to be out there with the ball in his hand, just trying to create for himself. And when he can score, then he's going to pull more of the attention of the defense. That will open shots up for Canyon Berry. Draw the defenders toward him, and he could dish it off to John Egbunu. And he could finish the way that Dante Hall has been finishing for Alabama.
Kevon Allen scores 2.
Hall now sits for the Tide, picking up his 3rd foul. Jimmy Taylor replaces him in the post. But we talked about the starting lineup for Alabama the last 4 games. What Avery Johnson gains with who he brings off the bench is a boatload of experience.
And 3 seniors, that certainly helps. Always teaching moments. Johnson, never not trying to understand more about the game. Terrific associate head coach John Pelfrey. You and I were talking about the staff that Avery Johnson has built, and of course the class he has coming in, the number 4 recruiting class in the country, led by Colin Sexton, top shooting guard in the country. But it's a huge help to have another head coach in John Pelfrey sitting on your bench.
With Bob Simon and Antoine Petway as well. And what Avery Johnson has done, you mentioned John Petty, who's a guy from Huntsville. Want to keep him in the state, number 24 in the ESPN 100. Colin Sexton, Alex Reese as well, who's an in-state product. To be able to recruit that well that early in his tenure is huge. And Colin Sexton is a guy that Crimson Tide fans are going to take a liking to immediately. We mentioned that this is the only Division I team that does not have a player averaging at least 10 points a game. Colin Sexton is a player who, as a freshman next year, you can just pencil him in for 15
what do you
points
think?
a game.
I was going to say 15 to 20.
Right.
He is a locked down scorer and defender.
Had the pleasure of watching Sexton this year playing on the Nike EYBL circuit. Here was a guy who played on a team that did not have a winning record, playing with a litany of ESPN 100 players, and he led the circuit, the highest scoring average ever among the Nike EYBL teams.
And at the 8 tournament in Las Vegas, where we both saw him play, I loved what he said about defense. He said, I'd much rather take a guy out of the game sometimes than score. It gives me as much excitement to limit my opposing player, the guy I'm guarding. If he can't score, that makes my day.
Taylor on a 2-foot assist from Olaniyan.
Delay of game warning on the Florida bench.
Alabama up by 3 on a night where they've been down by as many as 18, trying to go to 3-0 in league play.
The big plays tonight have come from this man, number 35, Dante Hall. Dunking, offensive rebounding, whatever the Crimson Tide needed, it has been Dante Hall all night long, and Bama with a 3-point lead.
More college basketball comes your way Thursday night on ESPN. First at 7 Eastern. Number 20 Notre Dame takes on Miami, and then at 9 it's SMU against number 22 Cincinnati. Both games also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Speaking of Notre Dame, tonight's Wendy's Wooden Watch, B.J. Beacham, who's been one of the top options for Mike Gray this year, averaging about 15 points a game, and coming off a Saturday game where he nailed 6 threes and deposited 22 in a win over Clemson at home.
Closing in on 1,000 points. He'd be the 3rd player from Notre Dame to have 1,000 points in their career. And the Irish take care of the ball. They are the best team with assist to turnover ratio in the country.
We got an offensive foul called against John Egbunu as Corbin Collins took an elbow to the face. Now he's going to get looked at as Avery Johnson makes his way out under the basket. You don't want to get in Egbunu's way. 6'11", 255. And now the officials are going to take a look at the monitor as well at that play.
Collins just coming off another injury. Groin and hip issue against Clemson. Let's take another look. Number 3 in the bottom of your screen. And to me, that first reaction doesn't come off as anything other than a basketball play. An aggressive post player trying to get to the rim. Still some elbow contact above the shoulders. Good to see Collins up on his feet, able to walk off the floor. Just trying to catch his breath.
Each official's review brought to you by Eye Care Associates. Eye Care Associates providing fans better vision at 19 locations across Alabama.
So to me, it doesn't come across as excessive, perhaps unnecessary. Not sure how the officials are going to rule this one.
They're still taking a look at the monitor. So the players back to their respective benches here. As this goes under review with Alabama up by 3 after they were down as many as 18 in the first half.
If they're going to categorize it as excessive and or unnecessary, I think you have a case for the flagrant, but it doesn't look like it's going to be the case.
Is a flagrant one. And the ball on the baseline.
And it is assessed as a flagrant one.
And they weren't going to call it.
So 2 shots in the ball here for Alabama after the flagrant foul. Charge to Egbunu.
Go back and take one more look at it. Here's Egbunu. And that is such a tight call to make, but I think if you go strictly, obviously, by the book, the unnecessary contact, to me, is what would have led to the flagrant one call.
Bama has struggled mightily at the free throw line for as much as they trailed in the first half. 5 of 18 at the stripe, leading into that shot.
To me,
It's a big difference maker.
I'm not sure if that warranted a flagrant, but at the same time, you've got such an enormous size difference that with the elbow, it's going to have a lot of impact. And Egbunu being a player with that size and with that momentum, Collins took the brunt of that elbow right in the neck, right in the face. It certainly looked pretty bad. I just don't know if it warranted the flagrant. To me, it seemed like a basketball play.
I think it's part of, too, with the rules emphasis this year of being able to create space as an offensive player. What the officials look at as well is when the player rips the ball through, are the forearms more vertical or are they more horizontal when bringing the ball through?
Right, and that is maybe your point right there. Is they definitely seem more horizontal. A lot of factors to look at when trying to decide how to assess contact, and a huge emphasis, as you said, on the freedom of movement.
But that's what Mike White is going to argue as well. The other side is, hey, the defender is taking up as much space as he possibly can. How is my guy supposed to be able to create his own space and then get a shot off without having the offensive foul, let alone a flagrant foul?
Well, my guess is that play will be clipped and probably sent into the SEC office for further evaluation.
Allen going for a contested 3, and Stone is called for the over the back. So 2 parts of that there is Allen is just trying to get some points, get some rhythm going, and then an out of rhythm shot leads to the foul on his teammate Stone.
Still too close of a game with too much time left for Allen to feel like he's got to force anything. And of course, being the scorer he is, he's got the green light. Florida shooting 50% in the first half, struggling just to get shots up here in the second.
And Allen's only got 4 points. Team leader with 15 a game. And coming off a season high 23 against Tennessee. A huge credit to what Alabama has been able to do tonight, face guarding him right from the tip.
Just making him a non-factor, getting the big guys into foul trouble, and then owning the paint with rebounds and with the exclamation points that come with the dunks from Dante Hall, Braxton Key. Florida has not been able to sustain a series of offensive possessions where they can build from. Everything's been choppy. They're getting to the line, forcing a turnover here and there, but not capitalizing on it. Every now and then hitting a three to stay in the game. That's what they have going for them. They are a solid three-point shooting team.
Stone stepping into that three-point shot and making his second triple of the night. He was 6 for 18 from deep coming into the game. Key has 20, the most for any Crimson Tide player this year. An off-balance pass, a turnover. Hill with the step through, and he walked with it. It looked a little bit too good to be true.
It did, and I know Casey Hill wants to argue that, but one too many European steps. That's taking it too far.
Only Svi Mikhailuk at Kansas has gotten away with that many steps.
Well, if you're
so
quick,
far this
sometimes
year.
you can, and Hill certainly is. But they were too big of strides. I think that's what got him in trouble.
Midway through the second half, Alabama by 3. The Crimson Tide at 2-0 in the SEC, and Florida a perfect 3-0 in conference play. So one team tonight will come away with its first conference loss on a night where even Kentucky faced a little bit of difficulty going up against Vanderbilt and really got a scare where the Wildcats came in winning games by an average of 30 points a night in SEC play, and showing that, well, 18-0, while it might look simple, really not quite as easy. An 87-81 win for Kentucky against Vanderbilt.
You don't want to lose any time, but the pressure is a lot less heading into the NCAA tournament. You might have 1 or maybe 2 losses, something to work on to rebound from. We've seen Kentucky in the past, an undefeated record doesn't mean a heck of a lot. We're heading into the postseason. You see the way they've been able to dominate teams this year.
So their margin shrinks by 6 points a game.
Whoa.
8 points for Stone, now make it 9. As he reels it in on the front end. Ingram still with just 2 points. Key, the leading scorer for Alabama with 20, and Dante Hall behind him has 12. 5 on the shot clock for Alabama. And that's 3 free throws coming for Armon Davis on the foul by Stone.
Alabama took a lot of time deciding what they were going to do in this possession. And it led to the last second 3 from Armon Davis, who gets bailed out from Keith Stone.
And it might not look like a lot of contact, but he didn't allow him to land cleanly. Now, Davis has been a great addition, a junior college transfer from the College of Southern Idaho. And now has a chance here to help Alabama build its lead. 9:06 left, second half. Wins in the SEC against Mississippi State by 10. And then just a 3-point win against Vanderbilt on Saturday. That was a come-from-behind win as well for Alabama. Outscoring the Commodores 23-8 over the final 12 minutes in that one. And now Davis has a... Another way to get the ball into Allen's hands. Turn him into the point guard here.
That's what you got to do sometimes. And he's able to take so many guys off the bounce. An acrobatic finish.
Still just 6 for Allen. Ingram baseline. So, Chiozza, one of the point guards for Florida, sitting with 4 fouls. They got Casey Hill on the floor. Take him off the ball and give it to Allen.
Yeah, going up against Dante Hall, who's shown to be an effective shot blocker this season and especially tonight. Florida, hearing from Mike White today, talk about the spells and the droughts of the offense and how Alabama's defense, they make you go still for minutes at a time. They make you go into the zone and play in a fog. So how can you get out of that? You have to have explosive plays. And your playmaker, Kayvon Allen, he's going to have to make them. There hasn't been anybody else tonight for Florida able to step up and really avoid foul trouble to stay out there on the floor.
Chiozza with 4, Stone, Hayes, Egbunu, who just came back in and sets the screen, all have 3 fouls. And there's a foul on Key as he railroaded his way right through Canyon Barry.
Braxton Key try to fight through this screen, trying to go over top and gets the contact there. And
doing a little lip reading there, Brooke, of Avery Johnson. He said he's moving, talking about Barry, saying the foul should really be going the other way if he had his way.
You know what, Barry did a great job with that contact. You know, it was hard enough that when he took the impact to fall down, sells the call. Fans, of course, get treated to the underhand free throw.
Well, he's in a graduate program for nuclear engineering. He's no dummy.
He's not a dummy. That's right. You gotta have street smarts though out of the basketball court. Just plays like that where you can take the contact and get a charge. And those are the plays there. If you're not having a great offensive night, they make a difference.
Key inside. Pump fake off glass, no, and Egbunu tapped it to the baseline. And it's carried out of bounds by Hill, so it stays with Alabama. It's going to come down to the wire to see who takes SEC loss number 1 of the year. Stick around for SportsCenter at night with Lisa Kearney and Kevin Connors. They'll have highlights and breakdowns from the hardwood to the NFL playoffs. Plus more from the College Football Playoff National Championship. SportsCenter at night after Indiana, Maryland on ESPN. Also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. A great midweek evening for college hoops tonight. 3 top 15 matchups. You have Xavier going on the road to Nova at the Pavilion. Number 1 Baylor, maybe not for long, taking on West Virginia, and Duke and Florida State as well. I'm all in on the Seminoles right now. They're still perfect in SEC play. Picked them back in October to go to the Final Four. So far, looking pretty good.
Spicy pick, Mike. You'd be right about that.
You know me, I live life on the edge.
Yeah, you are definitely not that guy.
Barry, double-digit efforts each of his last couple times out is turned away. Still 15 to shoot. Egbunu goes left block and uses all of his 255 pounds to get a pair.
I like what Florida's doing, using the weave actions, try to get into the middle of the paint, and the Alabama, the big guys, they can step up, and that's where you can dish off to Egbunu, but you have to be able to beat your defenders off the dribble.
He went baseline, stepped out of bounds, 13th turnover forced by Florida. Mike White said, look, we forced a lot of turnovers the last few games. I don't know if averaging 20 a game is sustainable. but that's why you've seen more full court pressure from them tonight, is trying to keep that number high and generate offense from their defense.
So the hard part is that's a part of your offense. Your turnovers are a part of your offense. Now, can you convert on those? Can you continue to create them? And when teams aren't turning the ball over the way you're used to, how can you make more of them? What new thing can you do? Keith Stone with the three.
His third made three-point basket of the night. And the Gators have picked up 16 points off of Crimson Tide turnovers.
Stone, a freshman, somebody who's trying to expand his game to be both an inside and outside player, but you come to Florida, play for Mike White, you're gonna have to know how to shoot the three, and so far a perfect evening for Keith Stone.
So it's Ingram at the line. Now 5 of 9 from the stripe today. Alabama started off 5 of 18 at the free throw line, and since then have made 9 of their last 10. Tied at 61, 6.5 minutes to go. It's been somewhat of a deferential Kayvon Allen for Florida here in the second half. Hall was a little bit late coming over, didn't get his hands up, his 4th foul.
See how much more pace really that Florida has been putting on their passes the last couple possessions. How much more aggressively have they been playing, right? Harder dribbles, quicker passes, better cuts.
Do you think they're a more confident team when Allen is on the floor?
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I think the entire offense goes through him, and from talking with Mike White, he said the key for Allen is being aggressive from the start. Well, we saw a little bit of that aggressiveness, but just one field goal attempt in the first half, and I think that has affected the rest of this Gators club. That's why Allen's trying to take more matters into his own hands here in the second half.
Johnson and Ingram up top trying to read this zone defense from Florida as they changed it up. Another turnover, 3-on-2, and Hill got hit hard from behind by Avery Johnson Jr. His speed was too much there.
It could have been a dangerous foul because Casey Hill was on the move. And it doesn't take much. A player moving that fast off the turnover. Great anticipation for Casey Hill, who's had a lot of games with steals, multiple steals this year. And yeah, 2 hands to the back from Avery Johnson Jr.
23-year-old senior makes it a 3-point Gator lead. Davis out. Riley Norris back onto the floor, even though he's got 4 fouls.
Here's a different look from Florida. Some pressure, trying to get some traps. Just over the half-court line or in the corners. You notice all their big guys up front, the lengthy.
Yeah, good luck trying to pass over the top of that zone defense. Devin Robinson, number 1 in blue, is 6'8". And he's called for the block. He tries to fold underneath against Norris.
We've got 6'9" Kevarius Hayes also up there, and active Kayvon Allen trying to bait you into throwing those passes. So it's a good combination between size and quickness to force Alabama into some turnovers. Florida's still enjoying a 4-point lead, even though it feels like Alabama has taken control of this game.
Well, time in this game is moving about as slowly as when you're being chased at the end of a dream.
You're trying to wake yourself up and you can't do it? Yeah, this game's taking quite a long time. Whoa! Whoa! You kidding me, Dante?
Key! And the reciprocal rejection from Hayes.
This has been Dante Hall's night in the paint. Let's watch this again. Allen thinks he's got a clear path to the basket, and Hall with the rejection. And Key, it's not any easier for you either, buddy.
No citronella candles needed here. We've got fly swatters at both ends. Now 5.5 minutes to go. Baseline feed, beautiful pass by Allen. And Stone got hit by Hall, that's his 5th.
Kayvon Allen taking a minute to get up, walking a little tenderly back to that huddle. Let's see what happened. It was the same play he made in the first half to get that backdoor cut. You see there, it looked like he bumped knees. Perhaps his left knee. See him reaching for that kneecap. Let's hope that's all it was.
A big blow here for Alabama as well, as Dante Hall has fouled out. 12 points. He did a lot of damage on the boards as well. For the Crimson Tide tonight, Jimmy Taylor replaces him.
And you get a very experienced senior in the lineup who's had a lot of impactful games, especially the last one, Vandy. Again, 10 points, 8 boards. So you lose in athleticism, you gain in experience.
The Gators taking care of business at the free throw line as well. They've made 11 of their last 12 free throws the rest of the way on every foul.
Max Hotzel and San Diego State were the preseason picks to win the Mountain West, but they're 0-3 in conference play. They'll look to get that first league win tonight against San Jose State. That game next on ESPNU.
Looking forward to it, Anish. We got more college basketball coming your way Thursday night on ESPN. First at 7 Eastern, Notre Dame tries to stay perfect in the ACC on the road at Miami. And then at 9, SMU against another team trying to keep perfection alive in league play. Bearcats are 3-0 in the American, going up against the Ponies. They're also 9-0 at home. Queen City is on lockdown. Both games also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app.
It's a great matchup, and Jacob Evans for Cincinnati. Excuse me, a lot like Kayvon Allen from Florida, and how his presence affects the team, how he's scoring, how he's getting the basketball. You know, it affects the confidence of everyone else.
There's Bill Battle, the athletic director here at Alabama. As we pass here in the Central Time Zone, 10 o'clock. Long couple of days if you're the athletic director for the Crimson Tide. Late night last night down in Tampa in the College Football Playoff Championship game, and back here to support Avery Johnson and this Hoops team trying to pick up win number 10 of the year and go to 3-0 in the SEC. And they do it against a top 25 team if they do get a win. The Gators at number 23 with the release of yesterday's new AP top 25. They're 12-3, 3-0. Their only 3 losses are some pretty good ones as well. Florida's lost to Gonzaga, Duke, and Florida State. Hill on the drive, 14-foot floater. Ingram had Olaniyan running the floor, couldn't get it to him. One dribble pull-up, Key, that is pure.
That's exactly how you execute a ball fake, one dribble pull-up. Clip that, put that out on their Twitter. That was nice.
22 for Braxton Key. Way outside. And Allen has made 13 of 23s in SEC play coming in to tonight. Not quite as high. Hill with the takeaway and an uncontested score. The final 4 minutes. Crunch time in Tuscaloosa. And it's a timeout for Alabama.
Alabama charged with a 30-second timeout. Alabama with 1 full timeout remaining is inside the window. It's the 4-minute media timeout. A full timeout.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of basketball is presented by CenturyLink, connecting more than just places. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And in part by the new Volkswagen Golf All-Track, soon to be everywhere.
San Diego State's Jeremy Hemsley exploded for a career-high 30 last week. Aztecs and San Jose State. That game will begin on ESPN3. We'll pick it up on the U after Florida and Bama.
Swamped out in Tuscaloosa. Number 23 Gators up 68-63. I'm just resting my eyes.
Yeah.
Who's never said that before?
Right? My dad at church every Sunday growing up. I'm praying. Leave me alone. It is a school night, though. But a lot of energy is still here in the building. Young fans, the students, they come out and support.
Yeah, classes don't start until tomorrow for the next semester at Alabama, but yet a very good showing tonight by the public and student contingent alike. Will the Crimson Tide to their 10th win of the year. 18-15 a year ago in Avery Johnson's first season. And the only Division I team without a player averaging at least 10 points a game. Turnovers have hurt them tonight. And the basketball stays with Florida. Gators with a 5-point lead.
Gators scored 24 points off turnovers tonight. And Bama's going to have to figure out what to do with that run and trap. Florida's big guys are up front, creating difficulties in length, trying to pass around that. So instead of picking the ball up, you cannot pick your dribble up. You got to keep it moving.
16 Alabama turnovers. Season high, 18. Oh my goodness. One dribble and the strongest finish of the night for John Egbunu.
You look at Egbunu, and he's got the makings of a perfect basketball form. He transferred from USF, so those elements to his game are there. If he could put those together consistently, watch out.
Turnover number 17, and it hurts even worse for Dazon Ingram, who ended up on his back and charged with a foul.
All of a sudden, Florida's defense tightened up, causing Alabama a lot of problems here in the last few minutes. And that's exactly what Mike White told us he was going to do. He didn't know when or how it was going to come, but he said we're going to throw some traps and some pressure. And we have to. That's how we create our offense a lot of times, is what our defense allows us to do.
Well, we asked him too, said, are those things that are already implemented and they're going to run well? He goes, in theory, yeah, they should work well. I don't know how well they'll actually work.
In practice, yeah, they don't always go as planned.
So far, so good. A dozen for Hill, now make it 13, which is 11 more than he had in their last game against Tennessee. 25-10 run for Florida has reestablished their lead. Alabama took control here in the second half and led for the first time since it was 4-2. Davis drives and gets it back to 7.
You know the adjustment that Davis did there that other Alabama guards haven't done? He kept his dribble alive. He could have picked it up around the SEC logo in the middle of the paint. He did one more dribble, and it led to a layup.
Hill was just looking to drive. Shannon Hale said, no, sir.
Shannon Hale, another senior on this team. Casey Hill really made that very easy for him. I'm not sure you want Casey Hill trying to drive, trying to score. I think right now he needs to be in charge of getting the ball to your big guys, to Robinson, to Allen. Hill, for the night he's had, scored 13 points. But he's not your primary option.
That's the difficulty of being a 6'1" guard. Scoring on the block, not going to be a forte. Points have got to come quickly and efficiently. Get it to Key, who's had the best night of anybody on either side tonight. 15-foot fadeaway doesn't go. Last touch by Avery Johnson Jr. and saved back in by Robinson. Minute 48 to go. The Crimson Tide need to force a stop and a turnover. Stone goes cross court. Berry. And a corner try is a huge three. Third straight double-digit scoring effort for Canyon Berry.
A lot more breathing room now for Florida. After slowing down the Alabama offense with pressure, Florida has been able to score a three here, a three there. This time, a cross-court pass that goes completely untouched. I mean, that's high level, chest level. Nobody from Alabama able to get their hands on it, and late reaction from Braxton Key. Doesn't matter. Canyon Berry's in the game. Force him to put the ball on the floor. Do not allow him to shoot a three. That's what he's best at, and he's great at moving without the ball, too, to try to sneak behind defenses. And the Bama fans feeling, I'm sure, just disappointed
for a
tonight.
second straight night.
Feeling couldn't win in Florida. Tonight we can't beat Florida.
Well, the magic number has been surpassed defensively for Alabama. They have 9 wins this year, and they've all come when allowing 62 points or fewer. 75-65 in favor of Florida. Look right to the top tonight for Alabama. Dazon Ingram with just 8 points. He had just 1 in the first half. Robinson, blocking foul, 2 free throws on the way.
His third personal foul.
And Robinson has been better served to use positioning, just keep offense in front. That's what Mike White, I believe, is trying to relay that message now. You don't need fouls. The last thing you need is to stop the clock and to put Alabama on the line.
This has been a really nice night, though, for Braxton Key. It's a career high, and take that with a grain of salt. This is just game 15 of his young career, but 23 points for him. And both teams offensively have had to find complementary options, with Allen for Florida and Ingram for Alabama not having their best nights, and Key has filled that void very well.
So starting to step up his game, and of course comes from a very successful high school program at Oak Hill Academy. The future's bright for this team, and it's not even until next year. It's this year for Alabama basketball.
On the lob, and Igbunu is there. He'll take the easy 2, even without taking much time off the clock. Just a minute to go.
1 minute remaining.
The Gators trying to extend a 5-game winning streak. Alabama came in having won 4 straight. And a whistle at midcourt. That was dangerously close to a backcourt violation by Chiozza, who's back onto the floor. He's got 4 fouls, but Mike White knows that Chiozza knows that as well, bringing him out there for ball security here in the final minute. You know who's really been huge tonight for Florida as well has been Canyon Berry. If you look back at his last 3 games, we saw him last Tuesday against Ole Miss, had 20, 15 against Tennessee, and now 13 here tonight. And that's something that Florida did not have last year, a graduate transfer and a integral addition for the Gators. The officials step in there.
Yeah, no need for this game to get ugly.
To pour water on whatever tensions were rising between Armand Davis and Chris Chiozza.
But you're right about Canyon Berry. What the benefit now of today's game of students being able to get experience at one school, improve their game, finish off at another, and to have that shooting ability from Berry. What he was able to do at the College of Charleston, and now on a big-time level. he's a game changer. He stretches the defense. He keeps you honest. And teams tend to still forget about him, and I don't know why.
And going forward, that's a piece that Alabama will have to add as well, or find somebody to be able to do it, is having a three-point shooter. Like you said, Barry is able to stretch the floor. Alabama took away Kayvon Allen, great three-point shooter, had made 13 of 20 from deep in 3 SEC games. They face-guarded him, but there were still other options that make them not be able to pack into the post defensively. So the Tide back off here, Brooke, and down to the wire. Takeaways for both teams tonight for you.
You know, it was a game that just didn't get a lot of momentum to it. I know both teams were going to have trouble scoring against the other's defenses, but I think what you saw were some guys who broke out, stepped up at times, but again, you have to put together a consistent effort, especially to win in the SEC.
And now it's 6 straight wins for number 23 Florida. They're 13-3. 4-0 in the league. Alabama falls to 9-6, 2-1 in SEC play. The final, Florida 80, Alabama 67. For our entire crew, my partner Brooke Weisbrod, Mike Cousins saying thanks for watching. Let's go out west, San Jose State and San Diego State.